You are now tuned in to the Lineman Lounge, the world's thickest sports podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Evo.
¿Cómo están, bitches? This is the Lineman Lounge. I am Mike. That is Evo. We are back. I don't know what happened with the little video intro, but the countdown stopped. I think, Evo, you hit the button. It didn't play on my screen. I don't know if it was in the middle of playing. So I just fucking hit it again.
It was definitely playing. I just backed up and reviewed it. It stopped playing. I was sitting here on my phone reviewing my stats, and all of a sudden I hear the music stop. I'm like, what the fuck?
Okay, well, so it was just my computer then. It stopped in the middle for me. I was like, oh no, something happened. So I restarted it. You get an extra long intro, but we are fucking here. It is Thursday night. We are going to preview tonight's game. We're going to talk a little bit about tonight's game. We're going to also go over some picks. But man, it has been a long fucking day. I am glad to be here. I'm not necessarily pumped for tonight's game because it's going to be dog shit in my estimation. But that's why I got beer. That's why I sent out
a fan. You might enjoy it.
You might enjoy this, yeah. So my dad, we just got back from the doctor with my dad. He is a Bears fan. And listen, I'm not sure which is worse right now, his lung cancer or the Bears. Because the Bears are probably killing him quicker than the cancer is. They are been so bad. They have blown massive leads, but I don't want to dive too much right into the Bears before we get this thing going. Brother, how's the week going? I know you're getting ready to make another trip here pretty soon, but let's talk about that before we start diving into this interesting game.
Yeah, it's been a relatively normal week. I was not furloughed, so
nice.
The government figured their shit out for 45 days, or at least put off their problems for 45 days, because who wants to solve issues when you're supposed to? So either way, I got to work this week. It was an all right week of work, but I'm now done. And yes, I am headed back out to your neck of the woods in Ohio, going out to see the ladies' boys and have a little long weekend with them. So that'll be nice. Of course, I hate flying, and I feel like I've been doing nothing but flying this year. So that'll be great. Another, like 8 hours to 10 hours of flight stuff tomorrow. So yeah, tons of fun. So I might just catch snippets of the game and stuff tonight, but I'll generally be packing, which probably will be about just as fun.
Yeah, it will almost certainly be just as fun, and I'm guessing you're not going to miss entirely too much because I don't know how the offenses go. What's up, Cliff? Thanks for tuning in, brother. Yeah, this game is going to be very, very interesting because some of the information that is out for this game, it's not great. It all looks bad. We'll talk about some of those numbers here in a second. But before we dive into tonight's game and then start diving into the football, I feel like we would be remiss. We even had somebody else in the Lineman Lounge Nation go on the Facebook group to talk about some baseball. Baseball is still going on. We are in playoff baseball. Your fucking Twins, the worst team in the AL to make it into the playoffs.
I don't know. Look, it's been the joke kind of all year long, but it might just be real. The AL Central is the best.
It was the
division
toughest
in
division.
Baseball. And that's why the records were so low. Like, it's because we were just pounding the shit out of each other. And, that pressure created a diamond in the Minnesota Twins, getting their first playoff win in a fucking long time. But their first series win since 2002 was the last time they won a series. So
21 years.
Yeah.
21 fucking years to go without a playoff.
For those of you that are watching the show, just to put this in perspective, it was a year after the trade towers went down. Right after 9/11. That's the last time my Twins won a playoff series. All right.
Oh,
I was in junior high school. And since then, I've been to war several times. I have had a lot of life to live. There's so much that has happened. We've gone through multiple presidents, but hey, the Twins have won a series. They're going on to play the Astros here shortly. Not today, I don't think, but we're going to be playing the Astros. So
I think it starts Saturday. And you know what? I very rarely will pull for a divisional opponent to win a series. In this case, I am absolutely pulling for the Twins. I will continue to be a hater of the Astros, probably in perpetuity. if I'm being completely honest. Like, I just do not fucking like them. I understand there's only one guy left on that team that was part of the cheating scandal. I get that. And he didn't even take part. I don't fucking care, because the vitriol behind all of the things that go along with baseball, I don't feel like I should have to either, because we hear all these people, or at least I do, because I'm in a lot of baseball groups on Facebook and on Twitter. I talk to a lot of baseball people because I love the game. And people are still very hung up. The steroid users were terrible. That entire era should be basically erased from the history books. None of their records should count. They shouldn't get into the Hall of Fame. And I'm just going to say that what the Astros did is cheating at a much higher level than anybody who has ever used steroids. So for that, I still hate the Astros, and I'm going to pull for your Twins in the next round. Now, I do not want them to win a World Series, because I don't know if I could handle watching a divisional opponent win a World Series when we have been fucking starved for one for so long in Cleveland. But in this,
when's the last time you got one in Cleveland?
On 1948, I want to say.
Okay, that's a long time.
Yeah,
I believe the Twins was like 91. So yeah, I don't even know that I had like.
I believe that we have the longest. I believe that we have the longest active World Series drought after the Cubs beat us in the World Series.
Well, I mean, of course, I'm going to be rooting for the Twins, but it feels like I am kind of just one of those passive fans now of a sports team, because the Twins just haven't been good to me for, 21 years. So it's been tough.
I'll drink to that.
It's been tough, but I will be super happy. Look, I'm happy that they got into the playoffs. I'm happy that they won a series. Like, at this point in time, it feels like we are playing with house money. I'm happy in general. So it's cool to see guys like Royce Lewis come out and look so fucking good. And of course, he's going to probably be playing for some other team next year, because that's what the Twins like to do. It's like, hey, this guy's looking really good, Luis Arias. Let's send you off to the Marlins.
You'll wait until he has 2 years of control left. So you got a couple more years of Royce, but not many.
I'm sure we'll fumble the bag somehow, because that's what we always do, with like David Ortiz, and there's a laundry list of Twins guys that we've just been like, these guys are really good, but bye. But yeah, either way, I'm happy for the Twins and what they're doing right now.
All right. Yeah. I'm pumped for them. I'm ready to see them beat the Astros, but we're not going to switch off of baseball just yet. We're going to kind of change the tone of the show just a little bit. And we got to talk about a baseball subject. It's not really about baseball, but it's about a baseball player. Trevor Bauer. Yeah. Good idea. Popping up that ticker right here. Trevor Bauer has been cleared. He is now allowed to talk about, and all court cases have been dropped in regards to his alleged sexual assault, rape. I'm not sure what the actual charge was, but what actually happened was extortion at the highest level. And we were able to finally get some answers on what happened with that. Evidence was turned over. Trevor Bauer has text messages that very clearly show that Mrs. Hill was trying to extort him, that she was literally just out there basically trying to get choked out for the bag. There are text messages that basically say, I need daddy to choke me out. Like, it's crazy. And the real shame of all of this is that it makes the entire sexual assault, rape, all of those situations much worse for actual victims. When we get these people that fucking lie, that makes it worse for everybody.
Yeah. One of the text messages that he was privy to that they've gotten discovery, I believe, was a text from Hill to her friend that said, next victim, star pitcher for the Dodgers. And then she said in an interview, like, it was probably the wrong word to say victim. Like, yeah. I mean, hindsight's 2020, but it sounds like the girl just kind of, again, dummy thick idiots here. It sounds like she solicited some choking and donkey punching in order to try to ruin this man's career and get money from him. Obviously he kept receipts, so
yeah.
It's such a weird thing to say, because it is abnormal for us to be able to come out and be like, hey, this guy that got accused of sexual assault. Good on him, because he's able to protect himself. Like it, even if you get completely cleared of stuff, there's still that's going to be a problem.
There are still people that are very, very much anti Trevor Bauer. Like, he is a
100%.
bad person. There is no way. And there are people that are even still saying, well, we should believe what this woman said. He's a terrible person. But when the evidence is so clearly stacked that she was trying to extort him for money, like, I don't understand why people can't just be like, okay, no, you're right, this was bad. I think it's because if they say that, then they're going to have to admit that sometimes people lie about these cases, and then there's no longer that we believe every victim. We're back on victim blaming, and this entire situation does not happen if she doesn't fucking lie. That's not Trevor Bauer's fault. It's her fault, because she fucking lied, trying to secure a bag that doesn't belong to her. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't know why people are still having the vitriol. I mean, Trevor Bauer is kind of an asshole, like, but he was always my kind of an asshole. And I'm really glad that he has been cleared of this, because it kind of made me feel like, man, how did I go through, and I'm supporting this guy, and he's obviously a scumbag, but obviously very clearly he's not a scumbag. I'm pumped I got that signed baseball hanging out back here now.
Maybe he is a scumbag, but at the end of the day, when it comes to this situation, yeah, he's been cleared of everything. And it's not like one of those just phony, like, hey, they did settle outside of court. No money changed hands. No money. She said, I just had to make the decision that my mental health and my healing is more important to me than getting every single thing public and bringing the truth to the situation. If that's actually what's happening, you don't finish this. They're like, your lawyers take care of it. Your lawyers keep driving. But obviously, if no money exchanged hands or anything like that, like, how do you think that the lawyers that she got
publicly? There's no fucking gag orders. There's no nothing.
Yeah, you think that her lawyers were doing this pro bono? Maybe.
No. Well, she did get some money, but not from Trevor Bauer. Yeah. She found a way to weasel $300,000 out of her insurance company.
Yeah, but it will. This is, Squash and Sports is bringing up a good point here. Back pay, apologize, blah blah blah.
No back pay.
It'll be interesting to see what he does, though, if he starts to come at the league or at his team or anything like that for the situation at all. Because I mean, they were put between a rock and a hard place in reality. Public perception, like, what are they supposed to do?
Right, you have to. It's the same thing with the Matt Arriaza story, that he's still not on a roster, and has apparently been cleared of all wrongdoing as well. Like, he's not going to get back pay, because that deal is between the Dodgers and him. The Dodgers are clear to break that contract whenever they want, and there was a certain amount of money that they had to pay him regardless of whether they cut him or not, because the way baseball contracts are structured. So he's doing okay on that. Now, what he might have a gripe with is Major League Baseball, ESPN, The Athletic, basically any fucking platform that went through and slandered this man, or libel, because essentially that is what happened. Now, not everything that somebody says is like, oh, he's a shitty person, he's accused of these things. Those don't count. But when you make statements,
Brett Favre situation with Pat McAfee.
Correct.
Allegedly,
right? But when you make statements, or you put in print that this person fractured the skull of this woman. Yeah, no. Yeah. And it very clearly didn't happen. That there was evidence that it didn't happen, and that you still run that story saying that he fractured the skull of this woman. That is libel. That is going to give him an opportunity to go after some people. Now, will he? I don't know. I think Trevor wants to get back to playing baseball in the major leagues, creating content through his platform, and doing all the stuff that he does, because he's a weird, quirky guy. That's, I think, where he wants to get back to. But I mean, crazy situation. Normally we don't hear it end this way. There's always accusations that, like, oh no, they're making it up. That happens all the time, right? Because people are trying to defend people that they supported. But yeah, it's pretty goddamn clear that this woman was out to get him the entire time.
Yeah, and realistically, in my opinion, like all the women's rights advocates and groups and stuff like that, they should probably be the loudest voices here voicing up against this woman, because it just is sullying their cause for
Yes.
all the women who do endure sexual violence, sexual assault, things like that. So unfortunately, that isn't a great talking point in their point of view usually. So we probably won't hear much of that.
Right. I'm just go back to old school, like when you were a child. Remember the book, The Boy Who Cried Wolf? This is the same fucking thing. The same thing's going to happen if this continues to happen. People who are on that side should speak up. Will it happen? Who knows?
Yep. All right. Well, with that, is there any more baseball that you want to go over?
Baseball, I am good. I am good on the baseball.
All right. Cool. Well, with that, we can move over into the NFL. It's week 5 of the NFL. We are looking at Thursday night football tonight. We have a banger. The 0-4 Bears going into Landover, Maryland, fighting the 2-2 Washington Commies. It is just going to be probably a lights out game, but it's week 5 for us here. Now, we are doing a full show today on Thursday night. The game starts here in 5:15 my time. So yeah, not a long time from now. We're definitely going to get this game done by then, but we're going to give you all of our picks for the week today, because I'm going to be, unfortunately, out of town, unable to be at the computer making picks for you guys on a Saturday or Sunday morning or something like that. We're going to give you all of our picks tonight with a caveat that we're going to actually make sure that we post on all the socials anything updated as far as our picks or what our official picks are going to be for our Sunday games, because in between now and those games, there can definitely be some injury news, things like that. I mean, we're still getting more news rolling in right now that I'm trying to keep updated for our notes here as we go along. But these stat lines have changed from when I looked at them this morning. They're going to change before Sunday's game. So we want to give you the most accurate. So that way, if you want to bet along with us, because we've been, we went from a heater to pretty good. So we're still on kind of a pretty good heater type situation right now. So like our picks are pretty solid. So if you want to bet along with us, we're going to give you the best we can, put out that information on Saturday in the morning.
We're going to toss up some of these
Sunday in the morning.
Some of these messages here. Oh yeah. You got it, brother. Go ahead. I'll let you run it.
Yeah, we've got the big cock Brock MVP. Sorry that he came in late. Okay, Joe.
All right. Yeah, I don't know if that was a cock joke, but
I made it one. I'm dirty and depraved in the head. Braves in 3.
Yeah, I like the Braves. I like the Braves as well.
And yes, Joe, you walked into some serious talk.
Yeah, you walked in on some serious talk.
Niners and the spread. Well, we'll see, because they've got a spread there. All right. Anyways, let's kick off into this Thursday night game. I'll throw our ticker up here. Right now, this ticker is based off of Caesars and what is Caesars is reporting on ESPN. If we have any differences, we'll kind of call those out as we come to them. But either way, it is Bears versus the Commanders tonight in Landover, Maryland. We have Washington favored -6 points with an over-under of 45. What do you got for this, Mike?
Honestly, man, this is pretty simple for me. It's the Washington Commanders and it's the money line. Like, there is no reason to take the spread based on what the Commanders have done. They look like they come back and they have been pretty decent. Like, they're up and down. Sam Howell is obviously a very young quarterback, but I think that they are good enough to win this game. We've seen the Bears at points look like they are a competent fucking football team, but that only lasts for about a half. At most, it's happened in one half of football.
Yeah, I mean they've looked good at small points. I wouldn't even give the Bears necessarily a half. Obviously, they had themselves a game last week and completely fumbled that,
and then fucked it all up.
Yeah, but on the flip side, you do have Sam Howell, who, I mean, so Washington has had 2 straight losses, but they have lost to 2 pretty good teams. The Bills, where they got kind of trounced 37-3, and the Eagles, where they lost, I believe, in overtime 34-31. It was a close game. Sam Howell looked really good in that game. He was 29-41, 290 yards and a touchdown. Yes, he was getting beat up a lot, but he was, I don't believe, turned the ball over. He was able to keep his team in the game with one of the top teams in the NFC right now, one of the only two teams that's undefeated in the Eagles. So look, the Bears, they have allowed an NFL record 25 or more points in 14 straight games. And those are 14 games that they have lost dating back to last year. Against the spread, they're 2-11-1. So the Bears just have not been good in any fashion for almost a year now. And then the Commanders, they've actually won 8 of their last 9 meetings with the Bears. So there's a little bit of history there.
I got a number, though.
It should be better.
And why I would not give up the points on the Commanders. 0-4 in their last 4 games where they have been the favorite against the spread. They're 0-4 on covering. I think they're the better team, and I think they should win.
I absolutely agree. And I think that Washington should win by the 6 points, but I am going to take the money line as well because it's a safe bet here. Look, primetime games, they just haven't been very good for a while. Not just this year. We're talking like this year, last year, and then some. These haven't been great. And this one is shaped up to be a not very good primetime game. Commanders definitely are the better team here, though. Bears are just going through it. There are very heavy rumors that Eberflus will be fired if they lose this game by Friday.
I don't see that as a problem either.
I don't think that will happen. I think what is more likely is that Luke Getsy gets the can, and he really should. Like, he's run a terrible offense. I went back today because I was talking with people at work about this and looked at this Bears offensive roster, and you do have some shining points. You've got DJ Moore. Justin Fields, while not a good passer, has that Lamar Jackson-esque style of play where you can create short yardage dump-off passes and a lot of really good trickery in the run game. Khalil Herbert, for you last week, had a phenomenal game. All right. I really like Roschon Johnson as a rookie running back there. You've got some good pieces there. Not Chase Claypool because his time is pretty much up. But the team will be there. Cole Kmet looks all right. I mean, but with the way that this team is playing, it's year 2 in a rebuild under a new GM, new head coach. It wasn't going to get turned around this year, but you expected to see something better. And with the talent that they have on offense, albeit not fantastic, but they do have some shining points, you should be seeing a better offensive performance from this team week in and week out. And we just aren't seeing it. And that revolves around Luke Getsy, his system, and how he is utilizing Justin Fields, in my opinion. Luke Getsy, he absolutely needs to go. They need to fix that side of the ball because that side of the ball can keep them in some of these games. The defense, that's pretty much a lost cause. They're pretty fucking dog shit. But the offense should be able to keep them in some games. I mean, my Vikings last year had a dog shit defense, like second worst in the league, and they were able to be competitive. I mean, more than competitive. Obviously, they were a playoff team because their offense was so good. The Bears offense can't be what the Vikings were last year, but they can still be about average and keep themselves in some of these games.
Yeah, I agree. This team is not as bad as the team that we have seen on the field every day. Like Joe brought up that they're going to play 3.5 quarters at 2-11. Like, there is fucking talent on this team. There was a reason that people were starting to tout, man, maybe the Bears are starting this turnaround the right way because they had a ton of picks and there's some talent. And it's just, this team is so poorly coached. Now, Justin Fields has not taken the step forward like everybody would thought, but he's not ever going to be that guy that drops back 30 times and wins from a clean pocket. He is your Lamar Jackson light. You got to find ways to engineer and manufacture offense. And they just can't do that at all.
That's like Lamar Jackson. I know that we've talked about this, but I don't really like him as a quarterback, but his style of play works if you have a system that works around him. He's not a great passer. He's I don't want to call him a modern NFL quarterback. He's skewed way too far towards the running game for me personally, but that brand of football can win and can win you a lot of games and make you a playoff team is the reason why Lamar got such a big contract this offseason, because given the right circumstances, you can be pretty good. Justin Fields has the capability to do that. I didn't expect him to make that jump this year. The MVP talks were way overblown, but he still has that potential, and this is ruining potentially his career right now, having to play under this system. Now, question for you.
He's not even going to be on this team next year.
Well, I mean, is he going to be on this team by the trade deadline is the next question that I'm going to ask here, because look, the Bears right now are sitting with the number 1 and number 2 overall picks.
Yeah.
That allows them to go after
Caleb Williams, fucking Marvin Harrison Jr.
Realistically, that would be the dream scenario. If you believe what has been put out about Caleb Williams, saying that he'll only play for 5 teams, Bears not being one of those, then maybe that doesn't work out. But you're able to go out and get a Drake May as a consolation if you're really worried about that, or trade down a little bit with that first overall pick and get a Drake May or a Bo Nix or a Michael Penix or something like that.
You could fleece one of those 5 teams that Caleb really wants to go to. That actually puts leverage in the Bears' hands, not Caleb's hands.
And I would be okay with them fleecing the Vikings a little.
Yeah.
Because at this point, we're a top 5 pick right now, and I wouldn't mind a Caleb Williams on my team.
Yeah, I bet you wouldn't. Okay. We'll talk about that situation as that comes up when we get to that game as well. But I don't know if he's on this team because there are plenty of other teams that I think might find a way to. I don't know if the Jets make sense like this last week. You know what? Zach went out and played a pretty decent game. I'm not going to sit here and say he looked terrible. He played,
especially in the second half.
Compared to what Zach has shown before, he played a marked better second half than probably we've ever seen him play. He was in command of the offense, and I don't think that we've ever seen him be in command. Ball came out quick. There's no wait. There's no hitch. That looked like a guy that could actually stay around in the league for a few years. I don't know if he's starter material, so I don't think that, but that's immediately where my head goes.
Justin Fields to the Jets. I don't think the Jets will happen. But the main rumor that I have seen is a swap of Justin Fields for Desmond Ridder and some picks, and sending Fields down to Atlanta.
Where he is from.
I don't know if it works out better for each squad or not. I think that Justin Fields going to Atlanta could potentially be an upgrade for that Atlanta squad. Des Ridder in this Luke Getsy system is still going to be a failure, in my opinion. Now, there's also talks about
Getsy's got to go.
There's also talks about other compensation getting thrown in there because the Atlanta Falcons right now are kind of looking criminal for their use of Kyle Pitts.
Yes.
And so if you're talking about a much larger package, Justin Fields plus some picks for a Des Ridder and a Kyle Pitts, and that creates a 2-headed monster kind of in Kmet and Pitts out there in Chicago if they're able to get an offensive system that makes it work. That's the more interesting one to me. I think it's a lot of smoke, not a lot of fire right now, but we'll see. I mean, the more losses that the Bears get here, and depending on how the rest of the Titans seasons go for the next couple weeks here, there might be some more steam to it.
Yeah, I agree. I love this by Cliff here, though. Commanders giving up a lot of rushing yards to QBs. So Fields on the over on the rushing yards is nice. We also got Squatching hopping in here again. I think that is entirely right now. I see it as posturing for Caleb, just because he knows he wants to go to a good situation and he can still get paid in college. That's a great thing about NIL is you don't have to set yourself up for a shit situation. However, when it all comes down to it, I believe he's going to leave no matter who's at first. He may pull in Eli, but I think that he will absolutely go. It's tough to not go realize your dream of being an NFL fucking quarterback, regardless of the money you're making in college.
Yeah. And now look, another point that was brought up here with the Commanders' third most quarterback rushing yards this season. I'll make this point as well. The Commanders' offensive line played better last week, but they still gave up 5 sacks. And one of my stats last week was about how Sam Howell has been sacked more than any other quarterback. He's been sacked 24 times now in 4 games. All right. That's a lot. And so for him to still be sticking in there is pretty damn good. It's not Daniel Jones getting sacked bad because those actually, they might not be the worst anymore. I'd have to look into that a little bit further on PFF here. But he's going to get knocked around some if the Bears want to get after him. But I just don't know if that defense can.
Yeah. And Joe, listen, I agree. That draft class was a very interesting class. I said I was out on Zach Wilson. I did like Mac Jones, so I missed there. I was not big on Trey. I thought Justin Fields would transition if he could find a way to get into a system like a Lamar. That just absolutely has not happened. So it's been tough.
You missed some football talk, Dave.
Yeah.
And also some BDSM talk.
Yes. Yeah,
So
actually,
go
yeah.
back
I
and catch
would
on to that.
scroll back for that one.
Yeah. Joe here's a squeaky pussy on the pod.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
Fucking shut up, dude. God damn.
Squealing, squeaky is the same thing.
Same shit. Yeah.
But all right. Well, with that, if you want, we can move on from our
I am
amazing
ready.
Thursday night game tonight for the rest of our week. So first game up, we have another London game.
Sorry, brother.
Oh.
Before we do that,
Oh yeah, throw our picks up.
we owe the people some picks. We got to show them what we got going here. All right, let's zoom in. You can kind of see it, ish. Man, I wish it showed up better. But okay. So I went 9-7 on the week. Evo, you went 10-6. Still, hey, not a bad week. I'm above 500. I don't love that number for me. The 9-7. It's like 55%. I'm still rocking a pretty steady record though. 38, 24, and 2. Evo with the 10-6. You are rocking 42, 21, and 1. So you are hitting at 66%, and I believe mine is at a straight 60% right now.
Yeah, but either way, if we're in the 60s, that's pretty fucking solid.
That's pretty goddamn good. 60%. Like I was pumped last year when I hit 58 over that 55 mark. You hit what 62 last year. So we're in a nice little groove right now. We've been playing a pretty tight hand for a while.
Absolutely. And actually, I texted you this last weekend. It was kind of a cool story. I went out to a drinking establishment here in town where we do have some of one of our stickers up.
Give them a shout out. Give them a shout out.
Well, it's PC's Lounge, but either way, in the men's room and the women's room, actually, we have Lineman Lounge stickers. I know who put that
one in there.
All right. And so I was in the restroom with a buddy, and he goes, "Hey, that's you." And I was like, "Yeah, that's me." And then another guy in there goes, "Wait, that's you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's me." He goes, "Dude, I did a $200 free bet on FanDuel the other week and didn't know what to do. I watched your guys' shit." And he's like, "I won $2,000. And I was like, "No shit." I didn't catch his name. So if you're watching it all, thanks for watching and following our bets.
Hey, comment, post it in the group, whatever you got to do, man. That's a really badass story. Continue, please.
It's solid. Yeah. So he won the $2,000, said he went to the casino afterwards because he felt in the gambling mood. I don't know how he did there, but he ended up giving me $20 in the bathroom, not soliciting sex, but he was like, "Hey, thanks, you earned this." And I was like, all right.
Not a VIG. Evo did not take a VIG. Okay.
No. It was just, he just wanted to buy me a drink, I guess.
There we go. Yeah.
So pretty cool little occurrence for me there to, it's rare at this level to get recognized, especially in a bar bathroom in a small town. But either way, look, $200 free bet and a $2,000 win. That's pretty fucking phenomenal. So very happy to help out. And this is kind of goes to show, like, if you look at our stats here, we are being very blunt with our stats. We call out our losers, but we definitely are going to show our winners, and we're winning a lot more than we're losing right now. So if you feel good about some of these bets, put together a 3-game parlay, a 4-game parlay, give it a shot, because and don't spend more than you can.
Always,
be safe with your money.
Nope. We don't unit shame here. If you bet $1, great. If you bet $1,000, great. We do not care. We don't unit shame. But if you like it, like Evo's saying, if you like 3 of those games, 4 of those games that we got, we're in agreement, and you're like, man, I kind of like that too. Toss it together. Hey, if we can get people posting their winners, I love that. I love that for us. I love that for the community that we're trying to grow as the Lineman Lounge. So let's keep more of those coming.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So either way, we're doing pretty good here. We have Commanders money line tonight. So if you feel like betting that feels like a pretty fucking sure winner.
Sample. Unless the Bears come out and I'm not going to say it. I was just about to, I almost jinxed it. So I'm not going to do it.
All righty. Well, we'll move on to our Sunday slate of games. 6:30 in the morning here in Arizona for me, but it's definitely much earlier across the pond in London, where the Jaguars and the Bills are going to be playing in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Yes, the Jaguars played there last week. They stayed the whole week there. We'll see what sort of an advantage this can give them. They are the most experienced team at playing in Europe right now, so they should already have some sort of an advantage. Oh, fuck. But they are playing the Bills. The Bills, one of the better teams in the NFL right now, and they're looking real hot. So the line is currently Buffalo minus 5.5, over under of 48.5. Mike, where are you at on this game?
I mean, I gotta go Bills. I've been up and down if I'm going to take the spread or not, because we've talked about the travel. We talked about it last week. The travel out to England that's a big fucking deal. It's like that's the farther travel than going from Miami to goddamn Seattle. And the fact that the Jags did not travel, they're already there, I feel like is a little bit of an advantage. Now the Jags, for better or worse, are completely tied with everything that they got. They're going to stick with Doug Peterson. They're going to stick with the offense, everything. But it has not looked as clean as it looked last year. Now, I have not been able to pinpoint on what I think that is. It's probably a little bit of their line play. They have not kept Trevor as clean as he was last year. But the fact that they didn't have to travel to England makes me think that this has a potential to be a close game. The Bills can beat anybody on any week unless the Bills just decide not to fucking show up. We were talking about the Dolphins last week as the class of the goddamn NFL after dropping 70 on the Broncos, and then they go up to Buffalo and get the shit kicked out of them. So the Bills can play and beat anybody anytime they want by however many fucking points they want. So they are fully capable of covering the 5.5. I just can't take it because they are traveling to England, and the Jags have been in England for 10 days, probably at that point.
At least.
I'm not gonna do anything crazy. Bills on the money line, make it nice and simple.
Yeah. Now, you brought up the offensive line for the Jaguars. They're actually getting Cam Robinson back this week. They're starting left tackle, so hopefully that provides a little bit of help there. But the Bills, they've won their last 3 games by 28 or more points. So they haven't just been winning. They've been dick slapping people. All right. The Bills, they've only had 1 turnover during those last 3 games as well. After their first game versus the Jets, when Aaron Rodgers went down, that's when they gave up all those turnovers. And since then, they've been very fucking solid. All right. So the turnover stuff with Josh Allen, maybe not as big of a story as we initially thought it would be. The Bills did, however, lose Tre'Davious White to an Achilles injury, so that definitely hurts their secondary some. That being said, like you said, the Jaguars just have not looked as good this year as we expected them to be. Something is not clicking right, and it is tough to put your finger on exactly what that is. At the end of the day, I think Trevor Lawrence still has the potential to be a top 15, top 10 quarterback in the league.
Yeah. I mean, he's a franchise guy, I think, potentially.
Yeah, for sure. But something just kind of looks a little bit off with him. I don't know if he's not being allowed to be as dynamic as you would expect, because Duke can run the ball. We saw it last week in the game that they were able to run the ball, but they had a relatively close game there with the Falcons. And that was a team that I really felt like, they probably could have beat, but
the hell out of.
But the Jags just haven't been doing that great. I did a recap show on Sunday where I kind of went over some of this stuff. You've got big name guys like Calvin Ridley, who, if you look at the stat sheet or just your fantasy points, you're like, all right, they had an okay day. But in reality, he had like 2 catches for 36 yards and a touchdown off of a blown coverage. That's not what you want to see from potentially your number 1 wide receiver. Christian Kirk is still having a moderately okay season, but not even as good as it was last year. Something with the passing game is just not working out as well for this team, and that gives me a lot of pause with this Jaguars squad. I believe absolutely that the Bills should be able to cover this 5.5 points, but for the same reasons that you brought up, travel, things like that, they might have a little bit of a hangover from just dumping all over the Dolphins this last weekend. To me, the Bills are going to win. I'll take the money line. They should cover the 5.5, but I'm not going to bet it this week because the safe play is just the Bills money line.
Yeah, agreed. All right. What we got next, brother?
Next up, we have the Texans and the Falcons playing in Atlanta. The line currently, according to Caesars and on ESPN, is Atlanta minus 1.5 over under of 41.5. And this was actually a surprising line to me. I didn't expect Atlanta to be favored here because Houston's been looking pretty damn good. Their quarterback looks pretty damn good.
Yeah. Hey, Joe Rockstar, if you want to take any advice from people about knowing quarterbacks, just watch this show, brother. We've been pretty good. Now, when we did our mock draft a long time ago, Zach Wilson went number 2 in that mock draft. But that was Goose who took him number 2. I went back and looked. So it's not either you or me. We knew better. So if you want quarterback news, if you want to understand what a quarterback is supposed to look like, how all that works, just watch here. And the quarterback that we said was going to be the most pro-ready guy that you could slide in and probably can command an offense at the NFL level was CJ Stroud. Now, Anthony Richardson might have a much higher ceiling, but CJ was going to step in, and we felt like he was going to be able to perform decently right away. Not only has he performed decently, he has been blowing the fucking roof off the place. He has not thrown a pick yet. He has thrown multiple touchdown passes, tons of goddamn yards. He has been exactly what that team needs. There's just not enough juice around him yet to win enough games. But he's going to have enough juice, and that team is going to have enough juice to beat the Falcons. The Falcons are not winning this game, period. I'm not dropping points, nothing. No. I'm taking the goddamn Texans outright, money line as the underdog. I think they're the better team. The Falcons are really good at running the ball, but they still don't know how to use all their pieces yet. Bijan is getting more in tune with what the offense is trying to do, but we talked about Kyle Pitts, Drake London. Like, there are just pieces that are not being utilized, or they're not as good as people think they are. So Texans money line on the underdog. I'm going to hammer that one.
Yeah. Now, this is a stat that I brought up last week when Houston was playing Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh was coming down there. Now, Kenny Pickett did get hurt, but it wasn't like early in the game necessarily, and Kenny Pickett also is kind of dog shit. All right. Mike Tomlin is 23-4 against rookie quarterbacks. All right. That's the best stat for a head coach against rookie quarterbacks since 1950. So realistically, that Pittsburgh defense, a pretty damn good defense, one that is good at getting after the quarterback with guys like TJ Watt, going against a Houston offensive line that is much maligned. They have had a lot of injuries. All right. You were still able to have CJ Stroud go out there and have a spectacular game in 3 games, in his last 3 games, including that one last week. 6 touchdowns, 1 interception, 970 yards. He's already thrown for over 1,200.
I thought he didn't throw a pick. I thought he's no interceptions. Maybe I might be wrong on my stats.
I don't know. I'll have to double check it. But either way,
I'll pull it up.
He's been playing really fucking good. He might have 1 interception on the season, maybe something like that. Either way.
No, man, none. He has got 1,200 yards, 6 touchdowns, no picks, 100.6 rating in his career. So he has not thrown a pick yet. This dude is dicing up defense.
Absolutely. Look, the Texans are going to be seeking their first 3-game win streak since 2018. All right. D'Amico Ryans has his team playing well. Houston, they're 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 road games. The Falcons are making that return from London. So who knows if there's a little bit of a hiccup or anything in a return from a losing effort in London. And to me, they are just the better team. I mean, Bijan is fucking fun to watch. Dez has his moments, Desmond Ridder does, but he still isn't like fantastic. It is a run-first team, and they're not using guys like Kyle Pitts. Drake London gets a little bit of play here and there, but the Texans are playing good on all facets of this of the ball, or all facets of the game. And Nico Collins is showing up as a true number 1 receiver out there right now as well.
Crazy, dude.
Having a really good year this year. So look, if the Texans are being given points, of course I'm taking it. It's Texans plus the 1.5. That's easy. If you want a probably, I would assume, better odds, take the Texans money line. But Texans plus the points here just makes all the sense in the world. It was a very surprising line to me.
Yeah, agreed. I couldn't believe that the Falcons were favored. Maybe home field. That's got to be what it is. I don't know.
Normally, home field only nets you maybe a point.
A point. Yeah, I know.
You know.
Did they think this? Would they have this as a pick 'em? If the home field nets a point, like, come on, like, where are we at?
It just when we're comparing the two teams, I just still can't see it as being a pick 'em. But
I don't. Yeah, I don't either. I don't
know. Either way, we'll move on to our next one. We have the Panthers and the Lions played at Ford Field in Detroit, Michigan. The line is a big one currently. Detroit minus 10 points, over under of 44.
Oh gosh, this game, I really badly want to take the points, and I want to drop the points on the Lions because the Lions are going to be really good. No, I understand Jameson Williams is going to be back, but he's going to be on a pitch count. He's going to run probably, I don't know, 12 routes. They're all going to be goes. Does that open up anything underneath? Maybe. I know that the Lions are a vastly superior team. I'm a little worried for the Panthers and keeping their goddamn quarterback healthy, though, because that offensive line has been really bad. And the Lions' defensive front is generating pressure at a rate that I don't think any Lions fan has ever seen. They are getting after the quarterback, and they are doing it efficiently with 4 fucking guys. Occasionally they'll bring a blitz, man. Like, I love the Lions in this game. I can't drop the points though, man. Like, if you go back, if you look at the numbers, like, okay, Dan Campbell, great against the spread, 14-5. Jared Goff, actually pretty good against the spread. But 10 points is so much. I don't know what I'm going to take the Lions. I'm going to take the money line. I'm going to play it safe. I typically will take a little bit bigger of a spread. I'm not going to do it on this one. The Lions on the money line is definitely a safe play. So that's what I'm going to stick with.
Yeah, I feel like Vegas is trying to take advantage of us right now because the Lions, that, they're a team that America really likes right now. People are rooting for them because they've been such maligned. They just came off of a big primetime win last week versus Green Bay. And then you have the Panthers, who are 0-4 and not looking very good. And I think that's why they're pushing this to 10 points. 10 points is a lot. And yeah, Detroit definitely could cover that. But I mean, Detroit has gone 12-2 against the spread in their last 14, which is the best in the NFL in that time period. They've also, more surprisingly to me, had a fantastic run defense. You brought up the pass rush. The run defense is one of the best in the NFL right now. They've only allowed 243 rushing yards this entire year. All right.
Oh, goddamn.
Last year versus the Panthers got over 300 rushing yards against them. All right. So in 4 games, for them to not give up that many rushing yards is pretty fucking impressive by Detroit. Panthers, they're 0-4, obviously, straight up and against the spread this season. They are not a good spread pick here, even with that high amount of points. It is Lions. It's Lions money line, safe bet. I feel like all of these games that we've gone over so far, if you want your 4-game parlay, those are all relatively safe picks that you can make and have yourself a decent little 4-game parlay.
Yeah. All right. I feel good. Lions money line. Everybody's going Lions money line. I want to give up the points, but like you said, it feels like a trap. If you go 8.5, maybe we're somewhere around that.
The hook would still scare me. Still scare me. You give me 8, and I'm actually starting to drool a little bit over it. But either way, we'll move on to our next one. We have the Titans and the Colts being played in Indianapolis. The line is currently Tennessee minus 2.5, over under of 43. Tennessee, they're 5-0 straight up and against the spread in the last 5 meetings with the Colts. And the Colts are 0-7 in their last 7 home games. So they're going to be looking for a win there at home to break this little bit of a skid. What do you got on this one, Mike? This weird Titans team that doesn't have good receivers. Do you want me to go first, or
do you want to go first on this one?
You go for it, buddy.
Okay, I'm taking the fucking Colts to win this game outright. I think they're a better team. Anthony Richardson is really coming into his own. The completion percentage, I know, is lacking at low 50%, but he is so dynamic with everything else that he can do. I don't think Jonathan Taylor is going to be a factor for this team, period. They're getting him back. There's going to be a lot of vitriol. Hey, he's not going to play in this game because the 21-day window just opened. I think that the Colts are on the uptick, even without Jonathan Taylor. I really like the things that I've seen from Anthony Richardson. Obviously, we want to see at least a 60% completion percentage, but we talked about this during the draft process. Anthony Richardson, floor was going to be Justin Fields, right? But who he reminded me of, and I believe we were in a similar vein here, is Josh Allen, a guy who struggled with completion percentage early in his career, is very athletic, but eventually kind of figured it out, worked with people. I really feel like Anthony Richardson is going to be in that same vein, that similar conversation, because the man works his ass off. He's a good dude. Like, I am pulling for them. Maybe this is a little bit more of heart than head, but I'm taking the Colts to win this thing outright. Colts on the money line.
All right. Well, for me, this game, I don't like either of the teams, honestly. The Titans have gone out there and beaten two teams that I really wouldn't have expected in the Chargers and the Bengals. Yeah, the Bengals are reeling right now, but like for whatever reason, Vrabel is able to get his guys putting out good products on the field. A lot of it is centering around the running game for the Titans. Last week, you had Derrick Henry throwing for a touchdown. That's how bad Tannehill is. All right. But for some reason, this Titans team is able to pull out wins where they shouldn't. This is a game where it's a lot closer. I'm not saying like they shouldn't beat the Colts because the Colts aren't that good. And maybe that makes them play down. I don't know. But either way, rush defense for the Titans has been phenomenal. A lot of what Anthony Richardson does is run the ball. Obviously, Zach Moss has looked great running the ball. And I agree, Jonathan Taylor, if he plays this game, I mean, there's still potential that he plays. I don't think it's going to be a big impact. Zach Moss has shown to be a good, competent starting running back. So either way, I think the Titans are going to put up a pretty good fight in blocking that run game, and that's going to make it a lot more one-dimensional for this Colts offense. I think it's going to be difficult. But like for me, this is an under game. Over-under is 43. I would be looking at the under for sure. But for me, I'm just going to go with the Titans money line. The Titans have been surprising me. I can't keep on saying that they're not going to win games and have them go out and beat these decent teams and not give them a little bit of credibility. Vrabel has put together some sort of a feisty squad here that, again, I can't really put my finger on it. Same way I can't put my finger on why the Jags are just not looking as good as they should. I can't put my finger on why the Titans are winning these games that they shouldn't be winning.
All right, well, that's the first game that we've disagreed on. So let's keep this thing rolling. I need to pick up a game or two. Actually, I need to pick up 4 games on you, 3.5. But
we also have some news that was kind of broke here about 34 minutes ago from Adam Schefter. Okay. Legendary Bears player Dick Butkus has passed away at the age of 80.
Oh no!
One of the greatest linebackers, I guess, of his time. Dick Butkus has passed away at the age of 80. So. Oh. That'll be interesting for tonight's game, I guess. Unfortunate that this Bears team is probably not going to be able to capitalize and do something good for Dick, but maybe we'll see. Does it give you any pause for your pick on the Bears game?
No, it doesn't. Yeah. I mean, I'm that loss of a legend right there. And thoughts and prayers to his family. 80 years, good life, but you never want to lose anybody. At least I don't. Death is the scariest thing on the planet. But thoughts and prayers to the family. Not changing my pick.
All righty. Moving on to our next game, we have the Giants and the Dolphins being played in Miami. I believe this is our biggest line of the week. Miami minus 12.
Big enough.
Over under of 47.5. All right. Let me get my stats up here. Giants are also 0-4 straight up and against the spread this season. The Giants gave up 11 sacks last week. Danny Dimes is not a good quarterback, and he did not look good, but that offensive line is not helping him out at all. 11 sacks is fucking wild. It seemed like every time I looked up to look at this game, he was on the ground getting sacked. Yeah. Like, it was pretty fucking bad. The Dolphins are 100% the better team here. Even with the beatdown that they took last week, I think that was a bad week for the Dolphins. That come playoff time, it could be a lot more competitive between the Bills and the Dolphins. But don't let that sway you away from picking the Dolphins here. The Giants, they're starting 2 rookie cornerbacks going up against Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Braxton Berrios, who has looked pretty fucking good this past couple weeks as well. Yeah. You also have a great trio, realistically, coming. It might not be a trio yet. Either way, Mostert and wait for it. Achan. Achan. Yes, I made sure to look it up before I did that Sunday night recap. It's Achan, but Achan's been looking great. Mostert down week last week. If you sold high on him having such a good week the week before, like I did in fantasy, good for you, because I think that that was a good play. But either way, you've got good running backs that are good receiving backs out of the backfield there. That offense should have no reason why they can't put up like another 40 plus points here against this Giants defense, which has just looked pretty fucking bad. The only thing that the Giants defense has going for it is that defensive line, but it still isn't doing enough. The Dolphins offensive line will be able to handle that for the most part. And the way that the defense was able to get after Danny Dimes last week, like this could be another rough one for that quarterback. So for me, I still can't take 12 points. 12 points is a fucking lot. I'm taking the money line Dolphins on this one. Like I hate double digits like this. Like if this was week 1 and we're talking like Dolphins going up against the Cardinals, I might have taken that. But that's the thing is, like, right now I know the Dolphins are better than I expected and the Giants are worse than I expected, probably worse than the Cardinals, and I still don't really feel comfortable taking that double digit point spread. So I'm taking Dolphins money line on this one.
All right, Dolphins on the money line. Oh, and it looks like we actually have a caller calling in.
Uh-oh.
So caller, if you're still watching, feel free to call back. Sorry I missed it. So what did you take? I'm sorry.
Dolphins money line.
Uh-oh.
Call from
Nan Borwood.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Nan Borwood. All right, we're gonna take it. Nan Borwood, you are on with the Lineman Lounge. What do you got for us, brother? I need you to turn your fucking phone. Yes, I can hear you and the TV in the background.
I need you to turn your fucking phone. Okay, I got
there we go. All right.
I can't actually hear you except for my TV, though.
Oh, that's not good for you.
All right.
Nope. All right. I'll tell you what. Since you're in the comments, we're gonna let.
I just want to say the Patriots suck so much that they actually cost me my fantasy win as well.
Okay, the Patriots do suck. Absolutely, we're not going to dispute you on that whatsoever.
Because I went up against the Dallas defense and they got 27 fucking points.
Yeah, Dallas's defense is pretty good. You got anything else for us, brother?
Worst loss of Bill Belichick's career.
The worst loss in Bill Belichick's career.
No, we were just terrible.
All right. Well, hey, brother, I appreciate the call in. We're gonna let you go because the echo is driving me absolutely batshit crazy. Love you. Bye. All right, there's the end of that call. So that was Nan. That's what he called himself, Nan Borwood.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Patriots were fucking terrible, but
and
that's what we're talking about. We're gonna talk about the Dolphins real quick.
Correct. All right.
Hold on. I got to do my pick. It's going to be very quick. I promise. You got the Dolphins on the money line, right?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to give you a couple contrarian stats real quick. Daniel Jones is 18-9 against the spread on the road, 17-6 against the spread as a road underdog. Evo, question for you. Are the Giants a better or a worse team than the Broncos?
Worse.
Okay. Dolphins -12.
All right. Well, with that, we can
there's
move.
my fucking analysis for that game.
Hey, look, they should beat them by that. They should, like I said, they should put up like 40 something points, and I think the Giants might struggle to put up 10. They should have Saquon back. He was almost ready to play last week, but they should have Saquon back, so that'll help them a little bit, but not enough to put them over the hump against the Dolphins here, especially not down in Miami. All right.
Also, our last caller, Ned Borwood, Benjamin Norwood. Appreciate you.
Nice. Our next game. Speaking of the Patriots, we have the Saints and the Patriots being played in Foxborough. The line currently, according to Caesars, is even over under of 39.5. So, based off of Nan Borwood's last call, Patriots suck. What is your take on that, Mike?
I agree. The Patriots fucking suck. There's no doubt about it. The Saints don't score a lot of points. Don't worry, neither do the fucking Patriots. If you want to bet an under, this is the game where you bet the fucking under. It opened at 40. Or I'm sorry. What would you say the over-under was right now? Was it still 40 or is it 39 now?
39.5.
Okay, so we're right in the fucking middle. I'm still taking the under. Both of these teams are not great, but the Saints have actually showed up and been able to win games that maybe they shouldn't. I still don't know that offense really has any idea what the fuck it's trying to do, but I like the Saints in this game, even though they're playing up in Foxborough. I don't know who's playing quarterback up there in Foxborough, because if it were me and I were Coach Belichick, there's not a chance I'd trot Mac Jones back out there after what happened last week. And I know he tried to hedge his bet a little bit in the press conference saying, there's no point in keeping him out there. We're getting our dicks kicked in. I mean, Bill didn't obviously say those exact words, but he tried to make an excuse for why he pulled out Mac. It wasn't because of poor performance. The fuck it wasn't. It was because of poor performance. They were getting murdered. They just had the worst loss of Bill Belichick's illustrious fucking career. I'm taking the Saints. I'm not doing anything crazy, though. I'm not fucking. Actually, you know what? It's minus. What is you said? It was a pick.
It's even. It's even.
Oh yeah, fucking Saints money line, easy, boom, done.
Well, my stat for this is the Saints are 0-4-1 against the spread in their last 5 games. I don't think Bill Belichick is going to not be ready to play after the worst beatdown of his career, point wise. Yeah, quarterback. Who knows what's going to happen there? But I think that playing up in Foxborough, Bill's going to get his guys ready to play. He might just use Ramondre a lot and run it down their throats. I don't know, but I feel like Bill is going to do whatever he has to do to kind of make sure that they recover from this. One thing that is kind of concerning for me is that the Saints, while they haven't looked fantastic on offense, it was the first week back for Alvin Kamara, and he had an Alvin Kamara style running game. He totaled 51 yards rushing. All right, nothing too crazy. The passing game, he only had 33 yards receiving, right? But for PPR people, he had 13 receptions, okay? He had 13 catches on 14 targets.
Points.
Big points for you, all right? That obviously means that they are going to feed him the ball one way or the other. Alvin Kamara, we know, can be dangerous, so watch that. Bill will probably find a way to lock that down. I'm going to take the Patriots in this one, and obviously money line.
Yep. So I don't need to type it out because as you started yours and I heard the way it was going, I already got you down.
All righty.
Game 2 that we disagree on.
Yep. All right. Next one. We have the Ravens and the Steelers being played in Pittsburgh. The line is currently Baltimore -4.5, over under of 38. And it sounds like we're going to have Pickett out there playing quarterback despite his bone bruise in his knee. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for Pittsburgh, to be honest, because your other option is Mitch Trubisky, and I think it's kind of a coin flip as to which piece of dog shit quarterback do you want to roll out. I'm going to keep hammering this. 2 weeks ago, not Mr. Risky, Pickett threw 2 touchdown passes in a game for the first time in his NFL career. Not a very good quarterback. Like I said, Pickett does have the bone bruise in his knee. Currently is questionable for that game. He wants to play. On the flip side, Lamar is 7-2 against the spread in his last 9 road starts. This bodes well for the Ravens. For me, they're the better team. Being played in Pittsburgh, divisional game there, it could be a lot closer. I'm just going to go ahead and say Baltimore money line. That's the easy pick for me. I do not trust Baltimore because they're basically a running team right now. Baltimore money line over under of 38 for this one. They're expecting it to be a low scoring game.
It'll be higher than that, but so we saw the comment get popped up by Squatching Sports. I'll toss it up there one more time. So they are worse with Pickett. I don't know that they're worse with Pickett. Then you can toss in Mitch Trubisky. You can toss in
Mason Rudolph is still somehow hanging around there.
The corpse of Mason Rudolph. None of those guys matter at all in this game. They're completely irrelevant in this game. Did they fire Matt Canada yet?
Nope.
Baltimore covers. That's all I need to know. Is Matt Canada calling the fucking offense? Because they're not going to score any goddamn points. They have been so bad for fucking multiple years now with him calling the offense. And instead of firing him and bringing in a guy that maybe can work with your young rookie quarterback, you know what they do? They elevate him. They fucking promote him and is working more hand in hand with Kenny Pickett. I don't know if that is an indictment on Kenny Pickett, that he needs Matt Canada to hold his fucking hand, or that they don't know what to do. Does Matt Canada have dirt on Tomlin? Why is this still happening? You know what? I don't care. Fuck the Steelers. Matt Canada drive that offense into the ground. There is no chance they're going to win this game. And 5 points or 5, what did you say it was? 4.5?
4.5 for Baltimore.
4.5. They easily cover. They'll win this by a touchdown, no doubt. So Baltimore minus 4.5.
And a little stat here from Squatch and Sports. Since 2021, when Canada was hired, the Steelers have had 0 400-yard games. The next worst team in the NFL with that stat has 4 400-yard games. Their offense has been deplorable.
Yeah, that's all you got to do. Is Matt Canada still employed by the Steelers? Yes, they lose. Boom, done.
All right.
Their defense does not score 14 fucking points. They lose. That's the only way they can win, is that their defense scores.
All righty. Next game, Eagles and Rams in Inglewood, California. This one actually could be a decent game. The line is currently Philadelphia minus 4.5, over under of 50. That's the 4-0 Eagles versus the 2-2 Rams, the scrappy Rams, who actually have surprised a lot of people. Cooper Kupp is practicing. He might play this game. Puka Nacua is still looking like a dog. All right. Having both of them out there, that could be real good for Matt Stafford, who's throwing all over the place right now, despite, not being able to connect with his younger receivers, apparently. Philly, they've scored 25 plus points in 7 straight games, which is pretty great for that offense. And I believe I did it in my Sunday recap. Philly, again, kind of like the Jags, doesn't seem to be clicking on all cylinders. I think it is they're not having Steichen there. That offensive coordinator just hasn't figured out how to utilize all those weapons yet. Despite that, they're still doing well on offense. It's not to say they're doing bad. It's just they're not meeting their full potential, in my opinion. Jalen Hurts is also 21-1 straight up in his last 22 starts. Obviously, they only had that one loss to the Commanders last year, and then you've got the Super Bowl loss, which isn't counting into the stat. But Eagles are a better team here. They are the better team here, in my opinion. The Rams could play them relatively close, though.
You stole my stat, by the way.
Which one?
The Jalen Hurts stat. 23-2 outright in his last 25. But 13, 10-2 against the spread in his career as the favorite. So you didn't steal all of it, but you got a portion of it.
All righty. Well, what are you leaning to with this game? Because I haven't made my pick just yet.
So for me, man, it's going to be the Eagles. But it's going to be the money line. I was kind of in the same vein as you at the beginning of the season that the Rams were going to be dog shit. But man, they found some studs in later rounds that are really producing. I think with Matt Stafford actually kind of being healthy right now, you get Puka Nacua going, you might get one of his favorite targets back. Like, I think they can maybe keep this close. Now, with it being in LA, it makes it even tougher for the Eagles to make that travel. I'm going to take the Eagles, but I'm only going to take them on the money line. I'm not giving up any points for the Eagles here.
Yeah, I'm in the same vein. The Eagles are the better team. I don't like the way that they've not been completing on all their potential. Maybe this is the game where they start to figure it out. Who knows? But Eagles should win this game. Rams should keep it competitive and close. Kyron Williams has looked really good at running back. Puka Nacua, Tutu Atwell, Ben Skoranek, and possibly Cooper Kupp coming back. Gerald Everett, tight end. Is Gerald Everett there? No. They just Higbee. Yes, Everett is with the Chargers right now. Other LA team. It's Higbee that they just re-signed to a new contract. They've got some decent receiving options out there. If Kupp can come back and look anything like he did 2 years ago, that'll absolutely help them out quite a bit. But I don't think it's going to be enough to beat this Eagles team. So Eagles money line for me.
All right.
All right. Next up, we have the Bengals and Cardinals playing in Arizona. The line is currently Cincinnati -3, which is, you wouldn't have expected that sort of a line at the beginning of the year.
I don't know what to do. I have no idea what to do with this line. I don't know what to do with this game. This game has been the bane of my existence since I started looking at this fucking week.
Yeah. Well, the problem is that the Cardinals are somehow staying
better than we thought. They're better than we thought they were.
I'm telling you, it's just like Major League. It is the ownership got a team that they wanted to tank, and somehow the manager and the players didn't hear about that. So they're actually putting up a fight. Obviously, they were able to beat the Dallas Cowboys. And that's just super embarrassing for the Dallas Cowboys. But you've got a Cincinnati Bengals team here that a lot of people have picked and are picking as a Super Bowl contender, and they have had their worst start, I believe, since 2019 in their first 4 games. They have not looked good.
Joe Burrow got there, yeah.
Yep. Joe Burrow, his leg has not been healthy, that plant leg. You can see his accuracy starting to be off. They're missing T. Higgins, who, again, he's been dropping balls a lot, but I believe he's got a cracked rib. He's questionable for this game. Chidobe Awuzie not going to be playing for them at cornerback.
And he wasn't playing great for them before he went down with the injury anyways.
Yeah, this is a tough one because the Cardinals have been playing a lot better. If this was like a -4, -5 for Cincinnati, I'd be taking the points for the Cardinals for sure.
Agreed. But it's right. It's at 3, right? Even at 3?
At 3.
Yeah.
And so with that, man. I'm taking the Bengals money line. The Bengals should win this game. Even though they had a real shitty loss last week to the Titans, they should win this game. But I think the Cardinals are going to be able to keep it close just the way that they've been playing. Josh Dobbs has been pretty fucking fantastic. Rookie Michael Wilson from Stanford. He's someone that we talked about in our pre-draft shows a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
He's looked very good in Senior Bowl. He looked good testing. He had very little play at Stanford due to injuries. And so that he was kind of that wild card. Is he going to be able to stay healthy? Is he going to be able to transition to the NFL? You don't really know. You don't have a lot of film on him. He's been looking pretty damn good for the Cardinals as a receiving option. And again, Josh Dobbs has looked good. James Conner has looked good. So the team is scrappy. They're scrappy.
They will fight for sure.
They will get more wins this year. They could get a win this week with how bad the Bengals have been playing. The safe bet is to take the Bengals because they are a better team.
And I'm gonna do the same thing, man. I gotta go Bengals on the money line, basically for every reason you just said. There is no reason that this Bengals team should be at the position that they're at, other than the fact that Joe Burrow is hurt. This is a very talented team, especially on the offensive side of the ball, but they haven't been able to score points. And because they can't score points, their defense, which is a league average defense, in my opinion, something that I said at the beginning of the season, and Bengals fans had lost their fucking minds. It's like the Browns cleared the Bengals defense, right? They have a very average defense, and they had a superior offense. One thing that made their defense better was the fact that the offense was able to hold on to the ball for as long as they needed to. They could run, they could pass, they could do anything they needed to, wanted to on offense. But now they can't because Burrow is still banged up. They can say he's good to go. He's medically cleared, all of that shit. If anybody with two fucking eyes who's ever watched Joe Burrow play before can tell that he's not the same guy right now. The leg is bothering him. He cannot plant. He cannot drive off of the leg. It affects his accuracy. It affects everything. That lower half is going to affect everything that you're doing with your upper half. But it's still the Cardinals. It's still the Bengals. I got to take the Bengals on the money line. If they fucking lose this week, though, to the Cardinals, who are incredibly scrappy, like this team we missed on, they are better than we thought. They are not good, but they are going to. This is the fucking Texans from last year, who everybody thought was tanking. Same thing we thought about the Cardinals, and they're going to fucking play themselves out of the first overall pick because, well, the Bears are absolutely atrocious. We'll find out in 25 minutes. So I'm going to go Bengals as well. Money line. It would not surprise me at all if the Cardinals beat the Bengals.
All righty. Next up, we have the Jets and the Broncos being played in Denver. The line, so again, was actually kind of surprising to me. Denver minus 2.5 over under a 43. Denver is the favorite in this game. Despite the Jets losing last week, but actually starting to look a little bit better on offense, specifically Zach Wilson. Like I said, first couple drives, not good. And then he got better and better and better, especially like to me, his peak was that first drive after halftime. He was able to drive that ball downfield, back shoulder fades, and then go for the 2-point conversion and get out of the grasp of some defenders and get in for the 2-point conversion. Zach Wilson looked like a good quarterback, like especially in that drive.
Shocked.
If they are able to do that on a more consistent basis, the offense will able to be all right. And we already know that defense is pretty fucking solid. Obviously there was the fumble at the end. Zach was really hard on himself for it, as he should be. It's a big switch from where he was last year. So I guess, kudos to that. But you actually saw his teammates and stuff rallying around him, which is kind of cool.
I did not expect. I did not expect that either, based on some of the things that we saw the previous week on that sideline.
Yeah. So to me, I'm taking the Jets plus the points here. I do not like this Broncos team. It is the return of Nathaniel Hackett. So Hackett can go and try to get his revenge. Randy Gregory was released from this Broncos defense yesterday, I believe.
Yesterday. Piss poor contract idea. Like,
it was
Jesus Christ.
Surprising. I mean, he hasn't been what he was with the Cowboys, but I wouldn't think that you'd get rid of him. That defense has been atrocious, though. Again, a lot of big name players on that defense, good guys. And Vance Joseph has
they got the best. They got the best corner in the league. They got the best corner in the league, and Patrick Surtain, and a great safety combo.
One of the better corners. I still think Sauce is better.
I agree, but I'm just saying all the things that Broncos fans are saying. I've got the best corner, so Vance is going to get fired. I'm like, for sure, Vance is getting fired at some point this year.
He should, which is surprising because he's a big name defensive coordinator, but he's just not doing the job right now. The offense is actually looking okay there. Like, Russ is not putting up terrible stats. The other thing for me here, Saleh came out, talked about Breece Hall, that he is no longer going to be on some sort of a pitch count. He is unleashed. Dalvin Cook has not looked good. I said in the recap.
So slow, man. He's so slow.
Fantasy football, if you have Dalvin Cook, it's probably worth dropping him off your roster at this point.
Yeah.
But Breece Hall, if you want to trade for a running back that has had okay production, but nothing special so far, this is your buy low time on Breece Hall. I think that he is going to start getting a lot more play, a lot more workload. He's going to start looking a lot better. And again, that Denver defense, they are last in opponent points per game, last in opponent yard per game, and last in opponent's yard per play. That defense has just been absolutely terrible. That's why you're able to put up, over 70 points if you're the Dolphins on them. The Jets offense really is going to revolve around whether or not Zach Wilson can put together a decent performance. Against this sort of a defense, he should be able to. All right, he should be able to be at least average. That's why for me, it's the Jets in this one. I'll take the points. Give me 2.5 for the Jets.
Yeah, so I've been going back and forth because this is another game that I don't like. And I can't believe I'm about to say some of the things.
I do like it.
I can't believe that some of the things that are about to come out of my mouth. But Zach Wilson looked like he was a competent quarterback last week that was capable of winning games in the NFL. That might be the first time that I have ever seen that out of Zach Wilson. He had command of the offense. I think they're actually not only going to cover, I think they're going to win this game. I still think there are massive problems going on in Denver. There is some sort of weird dynamic and shift going on in the front office. I mean, we got people, Randy Gregory, 5-year contract gets cut into year 2. The defense is not performing. Vance Joseph can't get these guys going. It just feels like everything is just off and wrong about this Broncos team. And then you look at this Jets team, who I thought if they started Zach Wilson again, they were going to lose the team. Well, Zach comes out and plays a pretty decent game. And then you get guys rallying around Zach. So Zach goes out. He puts on a pretty good performance against the reigning champions. His teammates rally around him when he struggles. He actually cares. He shows like he actually has been putting effort in to the job he's supposed to be doing. Playing against a pretty decent defense in Kansas City, and now he gets to transition and roll that against the Broncos. Can he keep it up? I don't know. I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to say yes. I think it is possible that if you're riding a heater, you play the heater. Like when you're either hot or you're due. Well, he was due, now he's hot. I think that they can actually win this game. I'm going to take the Jets on the money line, not even plus the points. I think the Broncos are in a really shit spot. I'm not sure they know what's happening with their organization at this point. You're going Jets plus what, 1.5, right?
2.5.
2.5.
And to be clear, I think the Jets will probably win this one outright as well. But if I'm getting points, I'm going to take them.
I'm gonna take another dog. I'm a big week for dogs on my picks.
All righty. Well, that takes us to our next game, which normally we hold our games to the end of the show. I'm just going to go ahead and go with it. We have the Chiefs at the Vikings being played in Minneapolis at US Bank Stadium. The line currently is Kansas City -3.5. That line is actually closing. It was higher before, but it is closing now. Over under 52.5 points. Your thoughts on this game before I get into what I have?
Okay, so the Chiefs are a better team. The Vikings have struggled. I'm not sure what direction you guys are going to go because I expect the Chiefs to win this game. I think you guys can keep it close so the Chiefs don't bury people. You guys keep every game close. I'm going to go Chiefs on the money line, but I'm very interested to see the way things start to shake out inside of that organization if you guys do lose this game. Because you guys are already almost top 5 pick. Can you get more capital for a Kirk Cousins who is not coming back, and you just go into a little bit of a tank mode? That is really, in my opinion, the storyline, because I don't know that you guys have a great chance to win this game. I think the Chiefs are a better team. They're the reigning champions. I'm going to go Chiefs on the money line, and I'm very excited to hear your thoughts on this game. So
Yeah, I wish that this line was a little bit bigger, like it was earlier in the week. It was more like 4.5, 5. I even saw it at 1.6 points for the Chiefs. At that point, I would be taking the Vikings plus the points, because look, the Chiefs are a better team right now. They're performing better, but the Vikings are still, again, interesting in the way that they play, because if it wasn't for all these turnovers, it'd be a very different team. Right now, we're number 3 in the league in yards per game on offense, behind the 49ers and I believe the Dolphins. We are like 18th in scoring in the league because of all those turnovers. I believe that we've had 8 turnovers on the goal line. No, 8 turnovers in the red zone,
the red zone,
4
yeah.
of them on the goal line. If we think positive, not all those are going to end up being touchdowns, but if all 4 of those were touchdowns, we'd be 5th in the league in scoring, and this would be considered one of the more potent offenses in the NFL. And then you might say, hey, Evo, your running game still sucks. I kind of agree and kind of disagree. All right. The first 2 games, they haven't been too good. However, you have Brian O'Neill, the highest rated blocking tackle in the league, according to PFF. Josh Oliver, the second highest rated run blocking tight end in the league. The Vikings offensive line is 7th in the league in yards per carry, 2nd on PFF's run blocking, 6th in ESPN's run blocking win rate. Statistically, when we run the ball, especially these last 2 weeks, we've been pretty good. We just don't run the ball a ton because we've got such a good passing offense. It's the turnovers that have been killing us. All right. The defense is better. Last week, they actually looked pretty fucking good. The score was way closer than it should have been, and we still were able to win by double-digit points because Kirk Cousins threw like one of the ugliest interceptions I've ever seen on the goal line for a pick six, 99 yards.
Yeah.
All right. To start off the game, which it was his worst game of the year, and I think that probably affected him mentally. But the team is still good enough that they're able to beat, a Carolina team that they should have beaten by double-digit points anyways, and they did. All right. I said before that if they get those turnovers figured out, they can probably go toe-to-toe with any team in the league. I believe that they can. The Chiefs, the 49ers, the Eagles, the Bills, the Dolphins, those are the top teams in the league. Those are all extremely scary opponents to me. And we got the Chiefs this week, Bears next week, and then the 49ers, all right? In that 3 game, and for the Packers after that, that's our next 4 games. We need to go 2-2 if we have any chance of fucking going to the wild card, because I don't know that we're going to catch up to the Lions at this point. All right. Can we beat the Chiefs? Yes. Do I think that we have a chance to beat the Chiefs this weekend? Yes, I do. I think that we can upset them. I'm not willing to take the points, though. I'm not willing to do that. The safe bet, if you are betting, is to take the Chiefs money line in this one. The Vikings are a good team. They can be a good team. This isn't a primetime game, so we don't got to worry about that.
No primetime, Kirk.
But if we get the turnovers figured out, this can be a good team. And the interesting thing is that Brian Flores, I believe he's faced Mahomes 3 times. Once with the Patriots and other times with the Dolphins, his defenses have actually caused Patrick Mahomes to have more interceptions than any other defensive coordinator in the league. It's very rare that Mahomes throws 2 or more interceptions. I believe he might have last week, but
He did throw 2.
I believe he has thrown 2 interceptions against Brian Flores-led defenses in every time that they've matched up against one another. Patrick Mahomes is really good when there's blitzes, and Brian Flores loves blitzing. But if you watch, he has changed up what he does every single game. He has been blitz heavy, but he's changed up the way that he's done it every single game. This one, I think we see a lot of 3-man lines and a lot of 8 defenders back. I think that they show a lot of blitz and they don't blitz. I think that they're going to make Pat throw on him. We'll see.
That'd be an interesting
quite
strategy.
possibly the best quarterback in the league. So we'll see how
that'd
it works.
be an interesting strategy.
Yeah. Well, Pat becomes more efficient under pressure. So it would make sense to feign the pressure and drop guys back.
So listen, Vikings 1-7-1 against the spread in their last 9 as an underdog. Chiefs 2-5 in their last 7 home road games as against the spread. So the easy play, the smart money play, Chiefs money line.
Mhm. If I'm feeling really ballsy, and again, we're going to update these. If for some reason the line moves at all, given the Chiefs
lines
4 points,
massive injury news updates. We will be posting stuff early or very, 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 very early Sunday morning to make sure that people can go ahead and build their parlays off the picks if they want to.
yep. And I'm telling you right now, Chiefs money line is the safe bet. My Vikings fandom and my little glimmer of hope in my eye makes me want to take Vikings plus 3.5. And if it goes up to Vikings or +4 or Kansas City -4, I'm moving my pick to that before the game. Just to make that abundantly clear.
Gotcha. Hey, by the way, she wants to say hi.
Hi.
He says hi. You want
Hey,
to say
girl.
hi to Evo? All right. Okay, so that takes care of our Chiefs Vikings game. We only got what?
Two more games left.
Two more games on the docket. We got enough time. Let's do this.
All right. So Sunday Night Football, we have the Cowboys and the 49ers being played in Santa Clara. The line is San Francisco -4, over under of 45. This is your game, Joe Rockstar. Cowboys and Jerry Jones came out. He said, hey, 49ers are the class of the NFL. If we want to have a chance to go to the Super Bowl, we got to beat them. I don't think you have a chance to go into the Super Bowl, Jerry. Your team is not as good as you think it is. The offense definitely isn't performing like it should. It's Mike McCarthy run offense. Let's be real. 49ers are fucking outstanding. The CMC MVP talk needs to start heating up because
higher, much higher. He is going to put up numbers that we have not seen since the fucking early 2000s, LaDainian Tomlinson, fucking Priest Holmes type numbers. He is going to, if you were able to draft CMC in your fucking fantasy,
oh, you mean your number one overall?
Yeah, ride him to the fucking championship game. He's going to score probably almost 20 fucking touchdowns.
Yeah. Deebo Samuel's questionable for this game. Dre Greenlaw, questionable for this game. Elijah Mitchell, questionable. Doesn't really matter because CMC is the guy that's going out there. Travarius Ward, questionable. Those are kind of the questions that we have going in for San Francisco. But for me, it's San Francisco winning this game all the way. They should be able to put up more than 4 points to beat the Cowboys, in my opinion. I think this is really where the Cowboys are going to have their first true test. Like, their first true test should not have been the Cardinals, right? They've played dog shit teams pretty much the whole way through. Teams that are not that great or reeling, like the Jets were reeling. They should have beat everyone handily here. The fact that they got a loss out there against bad teams shows me that they're not as good as Cowboys fans think that they are. 49ers should win by more than 4 points. I'm taking the money line because it's a safe bet, and it's a Sunday night game. Anything can happen. That should be a fun game to watch, though.
I think that will be an exciting game. At least the atmosphere will make that game probably feel a little bit closer than it actually is, because the 49ers are a far superior team. I talked about it last week. I couldn't tell up, down, who the fuck were the Cowboys? Are they good? Are they not good? Listen, they're a slightly above average team. They are not the world beaters that people thought they were going to be when they fucking jumped out to, 3-0 start.
Yeah.
They're
no.
Yeah.
No, they lost to the Cardinals week 3. Last week they beat the Patriots.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so but they have not played anybody who is any fucking good at football. Not one goddamn team.
Again, if you say, hey, X team is going up against Giants, Jets, Cardinals, Patriots, and we know that the Jets don't have Aaron Rodgers, you are probably leaning towards this team being at least 3-1, if not 4-0.
Yeah.
So
it's just it's insane to me that we're still having these conversations like, oh, they're not them boys. They haven't been them boys. The 49ers are fucking dudes. They're going to win this game. So what numbers do we got? Because what I'm seeing, I got -4.
Yep. -4 and over under of 45.
I like the over. I do like the over. I'm going to go 49ers money line. I'm not going to give up 4. If this were 3 even, yeah, I could do that. 2.5, hammer. 4, we're close. So I'm gonna go 49ers on the money line.
All right. And I'm 49ers money line as well. My other side bet bold prediction here is that 49ers will win by 8 or more points, but that's just me. Monday night, we got the Green Bay shitty Packers versus.
Can we pick a good
Raiders.
fucking game for prime time? I mean, I guess we got one on Sunday night. We got a good game on Sunday night, but Thursdays and Mondays, why? Come on, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's pretty terrible. And we're not sure what we're going to be seeing out there for the Raiders yet as far as quarterback. Is it going to be Aiden O'Connell or is Jimmy G going to play? I didn't get to see today. I know that as of Wednesday, he was still in concussion protocol. So that might hinge things a little bit for Raiders fans. But got a couple Raiders fans at work, talked to them. They both were in agreement with me that the long-term better option might be Aiden O'Connell. He did have 3 turnovers last week, all fumbles. That was the line not helping him out and him probably not having that good rhythm and timing to play in NFL football just yet. But he didn't look like a bad quarterback.
What, 5 times by Khalil fucking Mack? One fucking guy.
6 by Khalil Mack.
6. Khalil Mack got him 6 fucking times.
Yeah.
That is an atrocious job of fucking coaching. My right tackle has given up 3 sacks. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to continue to leave him one-on-one because Khalil Mack's not out. He wasn't beating double teams all night still. He's not that dude anymore, but he got 6 sacks in a fucking game because we didn't chip. We didn't fucking change anything about the offense when we have a Aiden O'Connell playing quarterback. This Raiders team might be the worst coach team in all of football, and Brandon Staley is still fucking employed. Like, I don't understand why we're Raiders fans. I'm sorry. You guys are fucked. He is so bad. This offense is bad. There's nothing about this team that I think is going to improve because the coach should have been fired last year. The only reason he wasn't fired last year is because the ownership couldn't afford to pay for another fucking guy because they are not billionaires like all of the other owners in the NFL. It's insane. I'm sorry, Raiders fans, but you're about to watch Jordan Love throw it 15 yards out of bounds, and then somehow the Packers are going to beat you. That's what's going to happen.
So I just had a fun thought here. If we're putting together based off of currently employed NFL coaches, worst coach team possible, is it like Mike McCarthy head coach, or no, Mike McCarthy like advisor, assistant head coach, Brandon Staley head coach, Josh McDaniels as a
offensive coordinator? He was good as an offensive coordinator.
Canada, the offensive coordinator, Getsy's back coach. McDaniels is in there as like the run game fucking coordinator or something like that. Vance Joseph, defensive coordinator. Like there's a potential for just like an incredibly terrible squad to be put together.
Dude, it is mind blowing to me how they have been this bad and he is still employed. But I know that the Raiders are cash poor. So I'm going Packers. I'm going to go, was it -1 or -1.5?
It is -1 for the Raiders.
The Raiders are favored?
Yes.
Oh my God. I'm going to take the Packers and the points.
Yeah, I am taking the Packers plus the points as well. And that is not me liking the Packers. It's just the Raiders are not very good. The Packers are not very good. I'll still throw my stats out here though. Green Bay, they're 7-2 against the spread in their last 9 games, which is why it makes me take them with the spread here. Love also, Jordan Love, the lowest completion percentage in the NFL. He is not everything that Green Bay thought that he was chalked up to be. He has had some better moments, but also they haven't been playing very good teams, everybody. They haven't been playing very good teams. You can't just take those first couple games and be like, yeah, this is fucking going to work. I've said it before. I didn't think Jordan Love was anything better than an average quarterback at best. So, you know, that you're seeing, I think, an average quarterback who is putting up very much so below average passing numbers. He'll probably get better, but not that much better. So
Packers
For me,
plus
it's
the point?
Packers plus the points.
Okay, awesome. Hey, so we got 3 minutes before this game is officially closed off. We can't do anything else. I am going to build a same game parlay. Let's build one together. Let's see if we can get something real quick for the people who are still watching, held on towards the end. So for this game, anytime touchdown score, I fucking love Terry McLaurin in this game. I love Terry McLaurin in this game. I'm going to take I like scare, and I can get him for plus 180 odds. So I'm going to take Terry McLaurin anytime Tutter. Let's see what else we got here.
What do you got in there for Khalil Herbert after that good week last week?
Ooh, do you want a Tutter or do you want some yards?
What are the yardage over-unders for him?
Oh, man. Khalil Herbert, alt rushing yard. Oh, let's just go with the over-under straight rushing yards first. 49.5. I like the over on let's go 49.5 on a Khalil Herbert. Receiving yards. I don't like DJ Moore. I don't want to go Terry and the touchdown. That's a lot to ask. Ooh, what about a Jahan Dotson 41.5? That's it's close.
He should be able to go over against this Bears defense. What do you got for Sam Howell touchdowns?
Ooh, let me see here. Player passing tuds. Sam Howell over 1.5. I get plus 102 odds for 2 tuds.
I think he gets 2 touchdowns.
Okay. All right. So there is a 3-leg parlay.
We're at time, Mike.
All right. Hey, let's do this. So I'm going to go. We're going to go 3-leg parlay. We're going to go with a Terry McLaurin anytime touchdown, Khalil Herbert over 49.5, Sam Howell over 2 touchdowns. You can get that for plus 576 odds at FanDuel. I'm tossing a fucking profit boost on it, going $10. Let's do this. Guys, this is the Lineman Lounge. I'm Mike. That is Evo. That is Evo. There we go. We thank you guys. Anytime you spend time with us, we cannot thank you enough. Time is the most valuable commodity that you got. Hopefully that you have enjoyed watching us. Our picks are helping you out. If you want to interact with the show, go to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all that shit. We are all over the place. YouTube, like, subscribe, hit the bell for the notifications. If you want to just listen, go to any podcast platform. We are there. But brother, you got anything else before we get out of here and go watch some football?
Nope. Let's watch some football.
Let's fucking do this. This is the Lineman Lounge. I'm Mike. That's Evo. We're the fuck out of here. See you.
See ya.